What's up, guys? Back to another episode of Anything But ASIC, and we got some more English majors pushing out that filler. Yes, this is a bit late. I think this is like 4 days back, but we're still going to read it because it's about mining. So here we go. Bitcoin energy use is a feature, not a bug. And I couldn't agree more. If you don't have the money to buy the electricity and put up things up front, you probably shouldn't be mining. But then again, uh, mining in general should have never gotten this far, where we just have walls of miners. They're technically inefficient to begin with, and will soon be probably doorstops. To be honest with you, the way the market's looking, there's no way there's gonna be that many people that can keep this on and just keep going. Let's read this long freaking article. Mickey Cross is a West Point graduate with a degree in economics. He spent 4 years in an infantry before transitioning to the finance corps. In a recent article titled "Bitcoin is not a store of value," an author going by the name of Zero X Stacker provided a seemingly well-reasoned critique of Bitcoin, equating its energy use to a flaw in the system. A leak that precludes Bitcoin from being classified as a sound store of money, sound store of value. I'm here to tell you that the energy use is not a flaw, but in fact, the aspect of Bitcoin that will drive it forward as a reserve currency and store of value for the entire world. The solution touted in the article points to a proof of stake, of course, but the flaws inherent to that system make it unsuitable as long-term store of value or decentralized monetary use. Bitcoin mining is about as competitive as it gets with markets. You're either purchasing cheap enough electricity to retain profitability or you're not. If you're not, over time you'll be forced to sell your Bitcoin and run out of the business. The author seems to assume that energy prices will continue to climb over time, making it more and more expensive to mine, causing a network death spiral if price action doesn't keep up. If you assume we are to remain on fundamentally scarce and perishable energy sources and a system reliant upon perpetual money printing and inflationary policy, then the author may have a point. But isn't the entire purpose of Bitcoin to create a parallel system without a mindset of hostility towards human flourishing? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt repats with math. First and foremost, Bitcoin miners selling Bitcoin isn't the issue to me. Why would we want a group of perpetual hodlers keeping every coin they ever mine? Coin distribution is essential for a healthy allocation of coins to go to people who want to opt out of the current system. Bitcoin is first and foremost a decentralization and individual empowerment. Do we criticize gold miners for selling gold? The criticism made so little sense to me that it barely registered as something to address. The miners I know, including myself and those at the corporate level, only sell Bitcoin as a last resort. They mine because they want Bitcoin, not because they want fiat revenue streams. The selling pressure in my eyes is a non-issue. It is indicative of the marginal cost of producing Bitcoin, which is one of the main aspects of Bitcoin that give it value when compared to fiat currencies. What is the marginal cost of producing an extra dollar? About 5 clicks and a couple of strokes of Jerome Powell's keyboard. He made it funny. In Zero X Stacker's solution, proof of stake stackers have no variable costs aside from perhaps income taxes and just running computers or servers that keep up the service. Because of the influence they have over the network from staking, the big boys are incentivized to hold on to their coin in order to exert more and more control over the network. Theoretically, a big staker for a cartel of them, like the big exchanges, could get together and completely take over a proof of stake network. The incentives drive centralization. The more you have, the more you get. The author then attempts to equate current mining costs and illustrate them out, using current numbers to project a future market cap and the energy expenditure required. This methodology is so nonsensical that it took me a while to even understand it. What I finally realized is that this equation is simply a mathematical representation of classic Bitcoin energy flood. Luckily, so many people have debunked this claim, it's barely worth mentioning at this point. It's actually found, they linked somewhere, Bitcoin Magazine. It's both Bitcoin Magazine. A simple antidote to combat some of these flood points is the new Antminer X10 XP. Compared to its predecessors, the S19 Pro, you could get a 27% increase in hash rate with a 4% decrease in power consumption and twice the price. Jesus Christ. And miner hash rate, once again, the rich get richer. And miner's hash rate may grow exponentially, but power consumption certainly doesn't. He also attacks the Lightning Network as centralized and reliant upon companies like Strike. This is simply not true. Much like Bitcoin, the Lightning Network's permissionless open source software has nothing to do with Strike. The Lightning Network is a layer 2 application. Strike should be considered a layer 3, using the Lightning Network as an enabling tool for its business. Strike relies on the Lightning Network, certainly not the other way around. As Bitcoin price grows, yes, fees will grow as well. Small purchases will move on to Lightning. Large purchases will need more security, and finally, you will remain on chain. Financially, will remain on chain. The hash rate will move to whatever level the miners are incentivized to keep mining. The author contradicts himself when attempting to prove the benefits of a proof of stake mining. Bitcoin is too expensive, but ETH being expensive is okay because they burn tokens and don't use energy. It doesn't make sense. He even states that the validators are incented to hold tokens because they don't have variable costs. The key difference here is that the amount of Bitcoin you hold does not affect network consensus. So if validators are incentivized to hold, please explain how the biggest backholders won't slowly take over the entire network. It's a slow and steady march towards centralization. He compares the return on investment into Bitcoin mining and staking, but fails to mention that the accrual of Bitcoin through mining happens at a decreasing rate with hash rate growth. Does not grow your influence over the network with the size of your Bitcoin stack. The miners need to provide value to remain viable. Stakers just have to stake. The author's article littered with so many false points and comparisons that it's honestly difficult to even address them. Bitcoin has a $3 billion cost for a 51% attack. Good luck getting your hands on all of that hardware and electricity. You must have your own secret chip foundries and nuclear power plants nobody knows about. CZ. CZ. The author originally claimed that he's not simply publishing FUD. Fact check, false. Mining incentives. Bitcoin Magazine To the Moon issue has Haas McCook III, damn dyslexia, wrote a theoretical story titled Bitcoin Mining in the 22nd Century. The article accumulates in a beautiful illustration how Bitcoin's incentive iterates into a world of human flourishing. Bitcoin is the incentive that can help drive down energy costs and bring human flourishing to the world. In a recent article by Level 39, he presents the technique that uses temperature differentials in the ocean water to generate electricity. The technology has existed for over 100 years in theory. However, the incentives for actual deployment have not existed until the development of a decentralized energy-based monetary system that could monetize electricity existed. Monetize electricity existed. That system is Bitcoin. Profitability assumption. One of the most flawed assumptions in my eyes is that Bitcoin needs to be profitable in the first place. Assuming the miners will always be giant warehouses full of computers consuming energy secondhand from power companies, then yeah, Bitcoin mining companies will always need to remain profitable. An interesting discussion that I've heard floated on podcasts recently is the theory that energy companies will begin to acquire Bitcoin mining companies, or that Bitcoin mining companies will begin to acquire energy producers. Either way, it's a win-win and helps to alleviate the need for Bitcoin miners to be profitable at all. The magic here lies in the electrical demand curve. No, we just need to stop these ASIC manufacturers for just making so many shovels that suck down so much energy. Calling you FutureBit, Just take the future bit model. Does he produce giant freaking ASICs that suck down 3,000 watts plus per each freaking unit? No. Neither does Gecko Science, but nobody wants to talk about that. Source: U.S. Energy Information Administration, U.S. Hourly Electrical Grid Monitor. We're about to get into the math. The demand curve essentially illustrates the change in demand for electrical based on the time of day at different points throughout the year. While this conversion could get very complicated, one of the big reasons that energy tends to be more expensive over time is that the price of your energy not only has to pay for the energy you use, but also for all the excess capacity the electric companies have but cannot use most of the time. You see, electric utility companies need to maintain the electricity capacity to meet the high demand for electricity as depicted in the month of July above, plus some of the excess safety margin. But that capacity goes largely unused for the rest of the year. Merging Bitcoin mining and energy production could resolve this problem completely instead of energy consumers paying for unused capacity until companies would use nearly 100% of their capacity, ramping mining up and down based on the energy demand through the day, charging customers only for electricity that they actually use. The incentives are still the same. As far as renewable development and variability costs go, however, it eliminates the necessity for Bitcoin miners to be profitable. The act of mining Bitcoin simply has to outweigh the opportunity cost of keeping the excess capacity offline. If there are a near zero viable costs associated with generating electricity like a hydro or nuclear, why wouldn't generators simply keep capacity at a nearly 100% and soak up all the extra electricity into Bitcoin? They wouldn't even need to sell it, but simply use Bitcoin in the beautiful monetary battery capacity that Michael Saylor loves to talk about. This could lead to a massive build out of clean baseload energies such as nuclear and lead to cheaper, more reliable, and abundant energy for all. The energy sponge concept has already helping to stabilize grids and reduce emissions in places like Texas, Utah, Kenya, and Oman. So while Bitcoin is changing the world of energy, proof-of-stake coin holders are set to hold because the price might go up, I guess. Furthermore, ASIC chips can be used to replace heating elements for applications such as HVAC systems and water heaters. Why would you simply want to produce heat when you could mine Bitcoin at the same time? It sounds like really stupid waste of electricity to me. And guess what? This is already happening in Canada on a pretty large scale. Delivering heat to 100 residential and commercial buildings. Why would you not want a water heater or furnace that mines bitcoins? Came up for a number that goes up, stay for the freedom, go up. The author also seems to focus greatly on price, ignoring the freedom-oriented aspects of the decentralized immutable ledger that is Bitcoin. Fundamentally, proof of stake is a system where the more money you have, the more money you'll get, and the more control you'll gain. Simply stated, it's because I don't believe in your system. It's not and can never be decentralized based on the price to run a node alone. I reject the premise that anyone has the authority to dictate my energy uses in the first place, let alone that your notions of what's eco-friendly have any sort of objective or useful definitions in the first place. Do you want to live in a post-freedom, eco-fascist, dystopian society? This is how you get there. Energy usage is not bad. You can have your cake and eat it too, all while saving the environment and running your AC at full blast. At current token price, just below 2,000, the cost to spin up an Ethereum node right now is just shy of $64,000 or 32 ETH. This is a steep price tag for self-sovereignty and the ability to confirm your own transactions, a cost that frankly most of the world will never be able to pay. Furthermore, the staking rewards ensures that the biggest backholders can always accumulate more and more of the network. Bitcoin has no such problem. You hold onto your Bitcoin as long as you are able to. No amount of Bitcoin will ever allow you to exert more influence on the network than anybody else. From the plebe with a few thousand sats to Michael Saylor sitting on his 7-figure mountain of coin, we are all equal. The cost of setting up a running a Bitcoin node is about $500 for a premium out of the box solution. The hurdle to becoming a sovereign individual is much more attainable for an average person with Bitcoin than with Ethereum. Nodes maintain the ledger, the nodes enforce the rules. A much cheaper barrier to entry ensures that Bitcoin remains decentralized with the ability for many more people to run their own node and ensure decentralization. In my eyes, we have two paths forward. Give into the energy fusters, accepting rising prices, and do everything we can to cut consumption and increase reliance on the internet and unreliable sources because using electricity is bad, or leverage the Bitcoin network to bootstrap the new age of human flourishing and abundant energy for everyone. I go with option number 2. Bitcoin is a powerful and decentralized network in a way that proof of stake can never be and will never become. Bitcoin energy use is a feature, not a bug. This is a long article. I'm going to try to sum it up as this. We've been doing the Bitcoin heaters for a very long time here. That's not a new concept, but it does work. So all the stuff that happens with that comes at the cost of expense or as a byproduct of mining Bitcoin, just like if you were to mine gold or silver, you also get the byproduct of petroleum jelly. I don't know if anybody knew that. It's basically worth mining, not just for the Bitcoin or for the Litecoin or for the whatever it is, proof of work. If you want to have something that you originally started Bitcoin for, then you're gonna keep mining. Keep mining. You don't have to buy a fancy miner. Just wait until the market drops like it is, and just keep mining. Keep your Bitcoin. But yeah, proof of stake is crap. Let me know what you guys think. Are you a proof of staker or are you a proof of worker? Which one do you guys do better? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.